far, we've explored theme, which is the deeper meaning behind a story. We've examined characters, the driving forces that bring stories to life. They are the heart of the story that audiences connect with. Now it's time to focus on the third and final element of great storytelling, plot. Plot is what ties everything together. It is the sequence of events that shapes a character's journey and brings the theme to life. Without plot, the story has no momentum. Plot makes us ask what happens next, and that answer is what keeps audiences engaged until the very end. So let's break down what makes a plot work. One thing to note is that a story isn't just a series of random events. It's a chain reaction. Every action leads to a consequence, which leads to another and another. This cause and effect relationship is what turns a collection of moments into a compelling plot. Think of it like a domino effect. One event sets off the next, and so on. If you follow the diagram here, you can see how each moment builds on the last. Event 1 happens, and so event 4 happens, and so event 8 happens. Some plots are simple, moving in a clear, direct path like this. Others are more intricate, weaving together multiple storylines and surprises. But no matter how complex the story is, a strong plot keeps the audience engaged, always wanting to know what happens next. And just like character archetypes, plots also follow archetypical character arcs, patterns of transformation that define how characters evolve throughout a story. And these arcs reflect different stages of growth, shaping the journey of what a person takes. The first is the maiden arc, where a character moves from innocence to independence, stepping out of a sheltered life into the real world. Then the hero arc follows. This is where a character shifts from being an individual to a protector, embracing adventure and responsibility. Next is the queen arc, where a protector evolves into a leader, moving from a personal journey to one that impacts an entire community. From there, we have the king arc, where the leader becomes an elder, trading authority for wisdom and insight. Then comes the crone arc, where the elder transforms into a sage, entering into a phase of deep reflection and spiritual understanding. And then finally the mage arc, where the sage becomes a saint, achieving transcendence beyond worldly concerns. These arcs mirror the broader journey of life itself, from youth to old age, from learning to leading, from leading to passing on wisdom. For a deeper look at these arcs, K.M. Weiland has done an incredible job breaking them down in detail on our website, helpingwritersbecomeauthors.com. Particularly in her series Archetypical Character Arcs. But of all of these arcs, one stands out as the most universally captivating. Across genres, cultures, and audiences, it's the one that keeps people hooked, and that's the hero arc. So let's take a look at why it's so powerful. The hero's journey is the most captivating of all the character arcs because it follows a transformation that audiences instinctually connect with. A protagonist starting out as an ordinary individual, facing challenges and ultimately becoming a hero. This arc is universally appealing because it reflects real-life struggles and growth. It's why we see it so often in blockbuster movies, the inspiring journeys of famous athletes, and even the branding of companies that position themselves as forces of change. So with that in mind, let's break down the structure behind this journey, something called plot points or beats. Plot points serve as a framework, guiding a story from its beginning through its middle and into its end. To make it as clear as possible, I'm going to use the hero's arc to illustrate since it's one that you're most familiar with. The Save the Cat plot model, developed by Blake Snyder and expanded upon by Jessica Brody, is one of the most widely used frameworks for structuring compelling stories. This model ensures that key moments happen at just the right time to keep an audience engaged. It breaks down a story into 21 beats, each playing a crucial role in the progression of the plot. These beats are grouped into 6 sections, which are color-coded here. The setup, the debate, fun and games, bad guys close in, dark night of the soul, and the finale. Each section builds tension, escalates conflict, and pushes the protagonist towards transformation. So let's quickly go through these sections. The setup lays the foundation, starting with the opening image, which sets the tone, followed by the theme stated, where the story's deeper message is introduced. The setup beat runs through this section, introducing characters and the world before inciting incident arrives. Next comes the debate, which contains 2 key beats: the catalyst, which is a moment that sparks the story and forces the protagonist into action, and the debate, where they wrestle with or whether or not they're going to move forward. Then we enter fun and games, which is where the audience sees the promise of the premise in action. This section begins with the break into 2, where the protagonist fully commits to the journey. The B-story beat is introduced, and it's introducing a subplot that adds depth, and then the fun and games beat delivers the main action of the story, the challenges, training, or adventures that define the second act. Of course, things can't stay fun forever, and that's where bad guys come in, close in, come in. This section starts with the midpoint, a major event that shifts the trajectory of the story. Immediately after that, the bad guys' close-in beat increases pressure on the protagonist. Then everything collapses at the all is lost moment where the hero hits rock bottom. This leads to the dark night of the soul, where they must reflect, reassess, and decide whether to push forward. From there, we move into the finale, the resolution of the story. The break into three beat signals the start of the third act, where the protagonist finds a new approach. The finale beat is where they take their ultimate challenge, typically structured around 5 mini beats. They are gathering the team, executing the plan, the high tower surprise, dig deep down, and the execution of the new plan. After this, we have the wrap up that ties up all the loose ends, and the final image reflecting the protagonist's transformation, often mirroring the opening image but showing clear growth. To illustrate how these beats work in action, let's break them down using Avengers Infinity War. If you haven't seen the movie, this is your spoiler warning, though to be fair, you have had years to watch it. So let's check it out.